All right, guys, I totally caved, and I wanted to just issue an apology firsthand. The hype train for Alien Romulus caught up with me, and I went ahead and bought a couple of tickets ahead of time. I know. I said I wasn't going to fall down the pre-order trap on this one, but I did. I saw too much positive early word of mouth come from a couple of trusted sources that said that the movie mostly delivers on what you'd want out of an Alien movie. Without any further ado, here's my top 5 reasons I'm kind of hyped for Alien Romulus. Let's check these out. Dude, number 1, the director leaving me pretty anticipated to see what he's gonna do. Fede Alvarez hasn't disappointed me yet. I enjoyed both his works on Evil Dead and Don't Breathe. They were both pretty atmospheric. They had different elements of, supernatural, some of the body horror, some of the psychological thriller, and just murder and mayhem in both. I am looking forward to seeing if he can kind of return this franchise to form, because as we know, this whole franchise has gone nowhere fast for some time. Number 2, we're getting back to basics with practical effects. I'm looking forward to this movie mainly because from what I've seen in the trailer, everything looks like it's really present, that it's on screen, that it's there, that it's not just actors working against green screens or against stand-ins for different things. They're using practical when and where they can. If there's CG stuff, I'm expecting it to be most of the, obviously the zero gravity stuff, some of the more over-the-top space shots, things like that, but everything that's inside, like inside the station, inside the shuttle, and most importantly, the Xenos. I'm looking forward to seeing full-grown Xenos actually being there, having weight on screen, and not just looking like rubbery, chromy, silvery, shiny CGI monstrosities that we've had the last bunch of times Xenos have shown up in the franchise. Same thing with the facehuggers. There's that great shot in the trailer here that touches on my point number 3. I'll get to that in a second, with one of the facehuggers getting a hold of one of the team members, and it just looks disgusting. Like, it looks like nightmare fuel. I'm very much digging seeing actors interact with physical things in their environment and give them stuff to play with, and not just using their imaginations in an empty room and then being told, hey, dodge to your left, there's a face hugger jumping. Like, no, it looks like it's a little bit more weighty than that, and I'm looking forward to that. And that's number 3 right here, body horror. As bad as some of these other Alien movies have gotten, the one thing they never, in my opinion, have never gotten wrong is the body horror. Whether it's chest burster stuff coming out the front, coming out the back, whether it's face huggers doing their jam it down their throat routine, like, it's all disgusting. There's loads of stuff to be grossed out by. So I'm thinking this movie's gonna hit more on that. Again, to tie it back to point 2, I'd love to see it done as practically as they can. I think it's a lost art in Hollywood. Maybe CGI is just less expensive when it comes to body horror, I don't know, but it just throw some buckets of blood up on the screen and let me enjoy the carnage. I think that'd be, it's one way to have fans actually just on board, just to give them the red stuff, let them enjoy it. Number 4, the world. I mentioned this before just in terms of the Xeno, but really, I want to see the space station's grittiness. I want to see sound design that makes me feel like really in space, no one can hear me scream. It's just this big empty vacuum. I can scream for help. No one's going to hear gunfire. No one's going to hear radio comms, all that stuff. I want to see that, but also within the world, I want the setting to just really hit. There's something specially horrifying about that isolated location. When you think of things like The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, and you're at that Antarctic base, help can't come for you. Hell, even if you could get a call out, they can't come help you. Same thing in the Alien universe. Whether you're on LV-426 or you're on the Nostromo, you're just out there amongst the stars, man. There's nobody coming to bail you out unless they're literally within like a 5-minute drive of being where your ship or your colony's at. Like, they don't talk about having crazy FTL drives or like, slipstreams or anything like that. Like, no, people are just in cryostasis for the long haul. That's why the Marines were boned in Aliens when they asked, how long until we're declared overdue can we expect a rescue? They're like 17 days. And it's 17 days because motherfuckers are far away from getting you. That's why. I think because they didn't want to come out, because they couldn't get there. So I really want them to dial that in. I want this location to look old, tired, run down. I want power outages. I want lights flickering. I want wires and shit hanging from the ceiling. I really want to see that in the world. And just more than that, like on a bigger level, I want to see Weyland-Yutani and how they're set up here. How, like, what this world looks like, the modern world in the universe. in the film universe, they've never really touched on in a way I found satisfying. Now, I know there's a bunch of comics out there, bunch of novels out there. I read a few as a kid, but in the movies, you really just get they're the Umbrella Corporation before we had the Umbrella Corporation. You know, so I hope we get a little bit more of that up front, and then hopefully develop it through the third act. Like maybe they say, you know, oh yeah, we're sending the rescue, just hold on, and then like literally they just shut the radio off and they're not going to do anything. So I'm hyped to see that as well. And then number 5, I think probably my biggest hype, I think, is knowing that they're going to try to tell an original story here, not necessarily shoehorn its events into anything that happened with Alien or Aliens, because on the timeline, this movie is supposed to take place between those 2 first films in the franchise. But it's another crew doing other stuff elsewhere. But what I'm looking forward to is hopefully being able to pick out some intentional homages from the director, from the writers on this movie, that just kind of reference those older flicks from the 70s and the 80s. Like, you know, can we get the prototypical pulse rifle? Can we get something like a loader? You know, I don't necessarily need to hear them reuse dialogue, because I kind of hate that. It's kind of like, no, you weren't there first, you know. So if this chick in this movie says, "Get away from him, you bitch," or something like that, it's not going to hit like that. I really just want the visuals. You know, like I want to see the corporate logos. I want to see mentions of like the various models of androids, stuff like that. I think there's a lot of cool stuff they can do with this movie. I'm really looking forward to seeing the homages there and the world, and just to see what Alvarez has to do. I'm looking forward to his work here. But that's it for me, guys. That's my top 5 things that are hyping me up about Alien Romulus. I suckered in, you know, I bought the 2 advance tickets. We're going to go check it out Thursday evening, and then review to follow. Let me know in the comments below if you guys are looking forward to Alien Romulus, or if you're just going to let this one go because you've been burned one too many times by the franchise. Let me know that as well, and I will see you after the movie.